All right, so we are in the automation here inside of Go High Level. If you guys don't know what Go High Level is, it is a CRM that most agencies are actually using, and it's very beneficial, very helpful. Obviously, there's two plans. You can go either to 97 a month or to 297. I would stick to 97 if you don't really have clients or if you have like one or two. But eventually, as you scale, then yeah, definitely 297 is going to be something that you need to do. It's non-negotiable, right? Not sponsored, by the way. So this is how it's going to work, right? So obviously, once the lead is generated, this is going to be triggered by a manual trigger. So this is not going to be like once a form is submitted, then it does log the whole thing. You want to make sure that you're mindful of it. So this is essentially done manually, right? So how it's going to work is once you manually trigger the automation, right? After you're done with that, then there's going to be an SMS opener that is sent out, right? So obviously, depending on your niche, it's going to be pretty different, right? So for example, if you're targeting more like practices and clinics, then you can say like, hey, I'm reaching out to ask if you're still taking on any new patients at the moment. If you're targeting like something else, like home service based businesses, then yes, you can say something like, hey, I'm reaching out to ask if you're still taking on any new clients at the moment, right? So once you're done with that, then that's when you want to kind of add a trigger onto those leads, saying like, hey, SMS has been sent out. That way you're pretty much kept in the loop of like, oh, okay, so it's SMS has been sent out for these particular leads. So I want to make sure that I don't do it again for them, right? So you just kind of want to keep track. You don't want to be sending out the same messages, two times to the same leads, right? So once you're done with that, then you can kind of you can essentially send an internal notification. I would stick to email rather than SMS just because you got to be ATP compliant. If you guys don't know what that is, check out my other videos. So you have to be compliant, ATP compliant, 10 DLC compliant as well to be able to send out SMS. And every time you send out SMSs, you're gonna hit like a benchmark. So if let's say you send out 100 a day, you're gonna hit like a restriction. So it's kind of like tiers. So if you hit 100 a day, then you're gonna go into 250. So I would kind of shy away from that because too many restrictions could lead to I wouldn't say ban, but like suspensions on SMS. So just kind of stick to emails because emails don't count as that, right? So you can just say something like, hey, David, I'll kind of say like, hey, David O, this is an automated email informing you that your cold SMS campaign has been started. So it's kind of like informing you that it's been started instead of going into GHL, seeing if the automation is sent out and stuff like that. So it's just going to keep you in the loop. So I'm going to save this action. I'm just save this workflow real quick. Okay, and after that is done, you're going to come into this, right? So it's going to come into 48 hours for a response. If they don't respond, it's going to come into like a follow-up saying like, hey, we're actually partnering with like owners like yourself, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like keeping you, it's sending them like a follow-up message. And then once the 24 hours is done, and if you still don't respond, then obviously it's still going to go to this right here. So obviously if the contact replies, it's going to do it a little bit more sooner. But it's going to kind of like send over it's still going to send them the pitch and it's still going to send the messages, right? So it's not like once they don't respond, it's like done there. Unless they say stop, then that's when the messages stop. But that's, you can't do nothing about that, right? So let's say this. Once the lead responds, it's going to come into here. So obviously it's coming into intent type. Is it positive? So if they say yes, if the answer is yes, like yes, I am open to it, or yeah, or or something just positive, right? Then it's going to send them messages. If it's kind of like a negative response, then it's going to come into no. If the contact replied to false, or if they didn't respond, then obviously right here, and it's going to add a tag, and then if none of the conditions are met, then it's just going to end it off right there, right? So obviously you want to put the tag here as like qualified if they say yes. You want to say unqualified if they say no, and then if contact didn't reply, then just kind of say like no response, right? So once you're done with that, then you can kind of come into the messages here. So you want to make sure that you wait. So I want to say wait like 2 minutes, right? So once you wait 2 minutes, then you can come into the pitch where it's like, hey, awesome, we're actually partnering with like owners like yourself to implement systems, blah, blah. And the reason why you want to say wait 2 minutes here, right? So I'll say wait 2 minutes is because you want to make sure that you don't send it right away because they'll know it's automated, right? And they'll probably not respond back. So once you do that, then obviously you can come into the SMS pitch them, wait 0.2 minutes. So kind of ending it off as a open-ended question saying like, hey, feel free to just let me know when to send it over. After you're done with that, right, then you want to wait 30 minutes for a response. If obviously if they don't respond, then what happens after 30 minutes is an automated follow-up message will kind of go out. I'll probably just change this to a little bit more. So I'll kind of just change this into like like 2 hours, to be honest. So 2 hours, save action, and then what happens after? Oh yeah, so what happens after 2 hours? So I'm gonna just change this real quick. So 2 hours for response, save, and then yeah. So you want to make sure that you wait 2 hours, and then after you're done with that, then if they don't respond after 2 hours, another follow-up SMS sequence will be blasted out, and then after 24 hours, if they still don't respond, it's still gonna come into here. But let's say they do respond in the next 2 hours or less, then the same thing happens again, right? So obviously they're gonna wait 2 minutes, right? And then there's gonna be another tag. You can add a tag again here as well. It doesn't really matter of the order, but yeah, you could just kind of add the tag. So like again, respond to the second message, qualified. I'm not interested, no response, right? And then if none conditions are met, same thing happens, nothing happens. So once you do that, then that's when you want to kind of ask the permission. And this is a third sequence, right? So this is when you kind of want to ask them the permission to call them. So like, hey, perfect, here's the video, and I'll give you a quick call as well. So you're kind of keeping them informed that they're gonna get a call by you. Wait 30 minutes. What happens when a contact doesn't reply? What happens if they do? If they don't, it's still gonna go into here, like I mentioned. And I'm just gonna keep this out there as 30 minutes, right? So after that is done, then it's essentially going to notify you saying like it's a hot lead if they do reply with a positive yes or a positive answer, any type of positive answer. Add tag, qualified, response to second message, hot lead. Add tag, not interested, right? And if none conditions are met, then it's going to just pretty much give them a follow-up message like, hey, figure I share a few case studies as well. It's going to notify you to follow up. And I'm probably going to just put this, I'm probably going to just change all of actually I'm going to put this as SMS just because I'll get to that in a second, right? So obviously, it's going to notify you to kind of follow up with them, wait 24 hours, and it's going to wait 24 hours. If nothing happens, it's still going to go here, and after that, it's going to come into here, and it's pretty much going to, send another follow-up as well. And the reason why you want to kind of like be really stingy and just kind of like really overdoing is because your end goal here is to make sure that they book on an appointment with you, right? So that's essentially how it's going to work. And then last note for me, if it's not worth the conversation, I'll just kind of close the loop on my end. If they still don't respond, then it's just going to come here, and that's pretty much going to be the end of the whole automation cycle, right? Now, just kind of going back to notifying leads. So notifying the leads, it's going to be it's essentially going to notify you for every single lead, right? So obviously, you're not going to get as much leads. Obviously, if you send out 100 DMs, you're probably not going to get you're not probably going to get all 100 people coming into this specific phase, right? You'll probably get like anywhere from, if the messages are good, probably like 10% of them, anywhere from 7 to 10%. But the reason why I put the email all the way up here in the first place is because so let's say you do blast out 100 messages or stuff like that, right? It's not going to notify you saying like the email blast has been sent. It's going to notify you 100 times saying that it's been sent for each lead, right? So that's why you want to put like an email here, just kind of like notify you. And I don't believe there's any other notifications that notify you as well besides that and just the follow up here, like the hot lead and the follow up. But that's pretty much it, right? So obviously, that's kind of like the gist of how everything works. And please, 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 I just want you guys to I want to let you guys know. Do not be overwhelmed of all these, just this whole thing, right? When I first started off, I was like, what the hell is this, and I just pretty much built this out for you guys, like pretty much dumbed it down so you guys can understand. But yeah, don't worry about like how this automation is built out. Like it's really simple. It might be big, but obviously there are larger automations as well. But this is essentially just kind of like a beginner stage. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. And yeah, that'll probably be the end of the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.